Hey guys, how is everybody doing? And I'm back again. I'm back. Ooh, wait, hold on, little tongue twister. I am back once again reviewing James Bond. And if you saw my review on Thunderball, you know I didn't like that movie so much. So going into its follow-up, You Only Live Twice, I basically lost all hope once again. But it's kind of funny. It seems that no matter when I start to lose hope, I kind of get sucked back in. Because god damn it, I kind of enjoyed this one. So with that in mind, here are my positives on You Only Live Twice. And my first positive is Donald Pleasance. Now he plays the role of the villain who has been the villain that we've kind of been teased about ever since you with Russia with Love, and he's also made a small little appearance in Thunderball. I think it was Thunderball or Goldfinger. And one of those, he made a small little appearance, a small little like roll. Yeah, it was Thunderball because of number two. Number two. So yeah, this has kind of been a villain that we've seen to be hinted at towards or teased at for a couple of movies now it seems. And we never really got to see him. We only heard his voice and we saw him penning in his little Bigglesworth. And so he's kind of been a villain that we've been building up towards. And I will admit his performance at times is not very good, I guess I to put it simply, because there are weird moments to where he has this weird line delivery. Like he has this like pause between every word. He goes, "You only live twice, Mr. Bond." Like he has it's weird. But, it the main thing here is that Donald Pleasance is in the movie. I'm a big fan of him mainly because which I think the main reason a lot of people like him is because of his performance and his character of Dr. Sam Loomis from the Halloween franchise, which it is his most popular character. Let's be honest. I feel like that character and that whole franchise is what his legacy will probably always be now. Because no matter when I see him, I always think of Sam Loomis and the Halloween franchise. So it's kind of hard not to see him as that. But however, he is an actor that I enjoy because of those movies. He has been an actor I every time I see him pop up, I'm like, oh, it's Sam Loomis or whatever. And that's what it was like for this movie. I do admit that the villain himself is bland and his performance is bland and it's not very good, to be honest. But it's Donald Pleasance. It's a treat to see him on the screen, and he's just an actor that I enjoy whenever I see him, thanks to the Halloween franchise. I don't know why, but this movie decided to be set in Japan or somewhere different, like in a specific area in Japan, and I really liked that. Oh, I just messed up my hair, and I really liked that because for some weird reason, I am the most confusing human being whenever it comes to this. I'm not a big fan of like samurai fighting or kung fu movies, like martial art movies or anime, any of those things. I don't really get into them. Well, however, for some weird reason, whenever they're in action movies like this, like kind of John Wick for an example, whenever they kind of have like roles like this in movies, for some reason, I always like it. For instance, my favorite movie of all time is Kill Bill. That you think that being my favorite movie of all time, I would be in love with like anime, martial arts movies, but I'm really not. And for some weird reason, I liked the setting in Japan. They did a pretty decent job of kind of showcasing that they are in Japan. Now, yes, there are moments where you can clearly tell that it wasn't really shot in Japan and it doesn't even look like they're in Japan at moments. And there's like literally moments where you'll probably forget that you're watching movies set in Japan. But there are moments where they do a good job, whether that's not even a word. Whether it's the fight sequences, the decoration of like the houses or the just the world, not the world, like the town they're in or whatever, they do a good job of like doing that. But however, there are moments where that doesn't even feel like they're in Japan. But I really like that. I thought it was really entertaining and it was definitely a fun setting for James Bond to be. Now, there are some awkward moments that they have in Japan, which I will get to soon. But I really liked it. I thought it was a really cool little setting for James Bond. It fits what this movie is trying to do, and like I said, it does feel like there are moments where it doesn't feel like they're actually in Japan. But I really enjoyed it. I really like the setting for this film, and there are moments where it doesn't feel like that. But when it does feel like that, it does a good job. One thing that pleasantly surprised me about this movie, and something I didn't even suspect to, you know, have as a positive, the action in this movie is surprisingly good. Like it's fast paced, it's edited well, it's actually really entertaining. You believe that what you're watching is like an actual action sequence and not just them standing like this with little pea shooters or just like really terrible fight sequences to put it in a way. But the action in this movie is surprisingly actually pretty good. Now, it kind of reduces more to car chasing, if anything, but even still, the action in this movie is actually really good and actually really entertaining. I was kind of blown away for the action that I was watching because this movie came out in 1967, 68, somewhere between then. But either way, this movie came out in the 60s, and I was surprised to see the action that I was seeing for a 60s movie. Now, yes, it wasn't like mind blowingly great or whatever like we have today, but it was action sequences that I was like, this is actually pretty good for a 60s movie. It's actually really entertaining. And that caught me off guard. I didn't expect that. I didn't think that was going to happen. So when I was watching the action and actually highly entertained by it and not sitting there just cackling at it because how bad it looked or how bad it was like performed, I was genuinely having a great time watching the action. I was really surprised by that. But now moving on to my negatives. This movie is oddly sexist and racist at times, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. Literally in the beginning of the movie, I genuinely couldn't believe that I fucking heard this. James Bond is making out with an Asian chick, and the fucking first thing we hear come out of this man's mouth in this movie is, why do Asian chicks taste so much different from other women? I heard that and I'm like, what the fuck? That is a weird question, one of the weirdest things I've ever heard anybody ask. No one fucking asked that. And then there's like times where they're like, oh, the first rule about Japan is that you come first, women don't matter or whatever. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then there's like some semi-racist jokes about the Asians in this movie. So I won't repeat them, but it made me feel so uncomfortable as I was watching the movie. I'm like, I get the movie came out in the 60s. It was a different time. People weren't as sensitive and people didn't really care that much. Ooh wee. But I was kind of sitting there and I'm like, dude, this isn't entertaining. This is just fucking weird. I don't like it. Now, I'm not someone that like is sensitive to these things. Like if you tell me as a joke, I'm like, oh haha, really, really funny. Like I don't really care. I'm not one of those people that's sensitive. But I was just watching, I'm like, dude, this is just fucking weird. Why are we doing this? And I kind of had a hard time breaking down my negatives because it's really just the same negatives that I've had with the other movies to where I would just literally be repeating myself. So basically, you can take any negatives that I've said about the other films and copy and paste it into this on for this movie because it's literally just the my same thoughts. Either it's the effects, the acting, or the villain reminds me too much of Austin Powers, which the villain in this movie does, but I won't repeat myself here. But literally anything negative I had to say about the other ones, I have the same thoughts here. Either it's the effects, acting, the villain, at certain moments where I think it's goofy. I take what you want, say what you want. That's kind of like one of my negatives of this movie. So to save myself from repeating myself, that's basically what I put down. Ugh. And my final negative is that this movie kind of has like a weird point in time where nothing really fucking happens. There's like a point where James gets with this chick and kind of acts like they are married or newlyweds or she's his fiance, whatever the fuck it was going on. There's literally a whole moment where they're doing like this whole undercover bullshit and they're like traveling doing weird shit or whatever and like kind of train fighting, I guess. They're like training to fight or something, whatever the fuck was going on. And there's literally just like a full like maybe 30 minutes of this movie where nothing was going on. There's like weird training going on or there's that fiance married thing or whatever the fuck it was. That was literally going on for like a good 30 minutes, it felt like, to where it's just like, it really felt like they had no idea how to make this movie 2 hours, so they just put in fucking random bullshit, like right in the middle of the script, and they're like, that's good, that'll make the movie 2 hours, and I'm like,
Come on, do math.
and I guess it worked. But I'm kind of sitting there and I'm watching this and I'm like, this is fucking pointless. Why is this in the movie? Overall, guys, I actually really enjoyed You Only Live Twice. Now obviously I have my issues with it. It's not a perfect movie by any means. I have the same issues as I had with the other ones, and even with my positives, I do still have some minor issues with them. I still really enjoyed You Only Live Twice. It was definitely a big improvement from Thunderball because Thunderball I was completely bored out of my mind watching that, but with this one I was actually really well entertained. So I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this one, and I do think that this one is worth checking out. So, what do you guys think about You Only Live Twice? Have you seen it? What do you think about it? Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Let me know in the comments below and we shall talk about it. If you like this video, like it. If you love it, subscribe to the notification so you will get notified for all my latest videos. And of course, until my next video, see you all next time.